Lampard, Brenda Edwards, Coleen Nolan and Janet Streetwater.
She always gets the big cheer, doesn't she? Yeah, she does.
I'm sorry my wave's so bad.
It's fine. We love it all. Hello, welcome everybody to your Tuesday's Loose Women. With a very busy show for you today. Here's what's coming up. It was a story that shocked the country almost 10 years after she narrowly escaped death when her husband tampered with her parachute. We're speaking to Vicky Cilliers about the day that changed her life forever. Also on the show, do you love or hate being referred to as a couple when you're in a relationship? Find out which one of us finds it empowering and which one, well, doesn't. And we'll be joined by a few extra panellists later. Some of our very beloved pets will be here. Oh, it's so well behaved. And would you include your pooch in your will? We're going to be discussing that a little later as well. First, though, Rishi Sunak's smoking ban bill will be debated in the Commons for the first time today. Under the plans, the legal age at which people can purchase cigarettes will rise annually from the age of 18. So anyone aged 15 or younger right now, today, will effectively never be able to buy cigarettes. It's a big bill. We've been talking about cigarettes, how bad they are for us. You know, you shouldn't have been buying them when I was younger. Here we are again at the same point. But this is it's quite full on, I think, this time, Janet. And he is out doing business.
And I think it will become law because the Labour Party are going to vote along with the bill as well, although it's called a conscience vote, which means that MPs can choose whether to vote on or not in favour of it. It's expected to go through. And while they were researching the bill, opinion polls seem to indicate that 2/3 of the country do think it's a really good idea and should be law. I suppose the big question is, can it actually be enforced? And the other thing the law seeks to do, which is even more important, is really restrict the sale of vapes, particularly to young people. And it's going to ban disposable vapes, and also introduce far more strict laws about flavoured vapes, because obviously vaping has been really, really popular with young people. Yeah. But going back to smoking, you've got to set aside, on one side, you've got the question of human rights. You know, are we taking away someone's right to choose how to live their lives? But on the other hand, who would really wish death on a child? And if you carry on smoking, if you start smoking when you are 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and you smoke throughout your life, you are restricting the number of years you're going to be alive, and you are definitely introducing a whole lot of negative factors into your health. So I think it's a very difficult question, but I think broadly I would agree with the law. I think enforcing it's going to be difficult. The government's going to bring in on-the-spot fines for shops that break the law. They're going to be £100 fines literally on the spot, and in court at the moment there are already fines of £2,500 for people breaking the law on the sale of vapes at the moment. I think it's going to be hard to enforce, but I think it's something that's really important.
I mean, that's all true, but it's like anything. It's when you hear the word ban. It's sort of, it can basically make people sort of sit back and go, I hate being told what to do. You know, it doesn't necessarily always have the effect.
The problem is, I think the intentions are good, massively, and obviously if they can enforce it and people adhere to it, it's a good thing, because no one wants young kids to ever even start smoking. However, there is already elements in place that, you know, you have to be a certain legal age to buy cigarettes, you have to be a certain legal age to buy alcohol, but still every day I see groups of kids either vaping, smoking or in a park drinking. So they're getting it somehow, even though it's illegal already. I also think the danger is then you push it like everything else. There is so many things that are illegal. Look at the drug situation. Everyone knows that is completely illegal, but it is out of control in this country, the amount of drugs that are going around and the amount of people that are addicted to those drugs, so they're all getting it from somewhere. And I think anything can be bought with money. And the danger is it will drive that underground as well with cigarettes. You're always going to get people to go, well, I can get you some here, there, another.
But if a third of girls...
And how are they going to police it, Janet? They can't police when your house is burgled.
But if you don't have the opportunity, not thinking about the kids who are teenagers now, but down the track, if someone's never had the option of smoking, if it's been banned from the minute they were, you know, out of nappies, it's not on their agenda. When we go to America, we don't find it weird that in America, in most states, you can't go in a bar or buy a drink under the age of 21. And that's just regarded as normal. So I think it's something that you just have to get your head round, because I'm so old. I remember when I was working in the office. Well, first of all, I remember my mum and dad smoking at home all the time, and they both had health issues as a result of that. But I also remember being a boss, and when the smoking rooms were introduced, that was horrendous. People would just go from their desk and all stand in a room where they would inhale even more smoke. And so I just think that...
You can't create a new norm, can't you?
Yeah, you
I
can.
remember smoking on school
Yes,
buses when I was going to school
look at
back in the day.
seatbelts in cars, for example. How much did we all complain about wearing a seatbelt? We thought that was infringing our human rights. Now we just wear seatbelts.
Yeah, it is possible, but it takes a bit of time, is basically.
Yeah, I think it'll take ages,
It's shorter than long of it. Moving on now, an Olivier Awards host, Hannah Waddingham, is continuing to make headlines for criticising a photographer who requested she show more skin, in particular her leg, while she was posing on the red carpet outside the Royal Albert Hall on Sunday. Here's what happened.
Oh my God, you never say that to a man, my God. Don't be I can't move off. Don't say so.
I'm not sure you can quite make out, or we're not allowed to say what she said, but she did say to him, don't be a such and such.
A silly person.
A silly person, yeah. So that's what happened. Brendan, what did you think of that this morning?
I applaud Hannah. I love her. She's such a strong tour de force. And, you know, I applaud her for speaking up and saying so, because there's so many people that would just brush it off as well. And I think more people need to stand up and say if they're offended, to say that you're offended, to let the person know they're doing wrong.
I really loved about it is a lot of things can happen to all of us, and you go home and you fester about it and you think, I wish I'd said that or I wish I'd done that. She just did it there and then. And that's why I really admire her for that. She had an audience.
Yeah.
She didn't have to, she could have just had a moan quietly behind the scenes. She didn't. She spoke up straight away for something she properly believed in.
Yeah.
And you can't help but applaud her for that.
I know, it was brilliant. I just hate the whole red carpet thing anyway. I think it's demeaning to men and women who have to walk along it. But on the other hand, women willingly go down it, where skirts split right up, you know, and then there are quite a few women who think this, you know, the modern feminist thinks it's perfectly OK to stand on a red carpet with all your bits hanging out and see-through tops and whatever. So, I mean, there's two ways.
Like, it should be. That's the whole point, isn't it?
But I personally find it awful to walk down a red carpet and have people shouting at me, smile, you miserable old what's it? And I think...
Don't pretend that's just the red carpet.
But, you know, you just feel like an animal or something.
But do you think if there had have been a big sort of male superstar beside her there on the red carpet, that he would have been screamed at, you know, get your chest out, get your muscles out,
well,
whatever
yeah,
it
but they're
might
in
be.
a dress suit, aren't they? But I bet if it was a superhero, they might have said, oh, shows you muscles or whatever, you know.
Well, there's gorgeous Barry from Saltburn. What's his other name? Barry Keoghan. Well, he's always got everything out, hasn't he? I mean, he's like Florence Pugh, the female equivalent. I mean, these are young stars who think, I've got a great body, I'm going to show it. But for everybody else who hasn't got a body quite up there in the first division of body, beautiful, whatever, I'm choosing my words with care here, thinking I've gone into a deep hole. But if you haven't got that kind of body, you just feel embarrassed.
Yeah. No, of course.
And they just bray at you.
The thing is, though, when you go to these award ceremonies or anything like that, where you've got to really, not even award ceremonies, if you're getting dressed up to go out for the night, you do dress up because you want people to either think you look great or notice you.
And for you too.
And
to feel better
for yourself. So it's a really difficult situation, because on the one hand, yes, they shouldn't shout out inappropriate things, but if we get to a stage where people are too frightened to even say, wow, you look amazing tonight, what's the point of going out? If I spend hours getting ready, I mean, I've been here since Monday looking. And not one person goes, oh, you look good.
You look great.
Thanks. Well, yeah, but it might get to a stage where you're not allowed to say that without offending me. And then, like, what's that? So I may as well just turn up in my pyjamas.
Well, I feel comfortable here, but get me on a red carpet and I'm suffering from imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a very intimidating thing. A lot of people enjoy it. You know, they kind of feed off it. I'm exactly the same, Janet. I don't at all. But I think that's why Anna did so well, because she called it out straight away. She did well to even hear this paparazzi person because they must have been particularly loud, because normally there's a bank of people and they're all screaming and shouting. So it was something clearly just really struck a chord with her, and she said, no, I'm not having that. Yeah. So, you know, fair enough. But
She's great though, I love her.
She is fantastic. She's just brave as well, isn't she? She's just, I'm going to say what's in my mind. So fair enough, Hannah. Well done. Still to come, would you follow in the footsteps of the late, great Paul O'Grady and leave your pets some of your fortune when you die? That's after reports that he left £125,000 to his 5 dogs. And after former Little Mix star Perry Edwards revealed that she has never lived with her partner of 8 years, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we're asking if it's time to rethink the traditional idea of a couple. A word that sends shivers down Janet's spine. All of that to come. We'll see you after this. Welcome back. Competition time now, and it's the final week to enter our spring prize draw worth £80,000. That was really good. Josie was enjoying some cider yesterday. What is she up to today? Oh, she's on the water today. Hello, Josie.
Afternoon, ladies. Oh, ladies, I'm having the best day ever. I'm on the Kennet and Avon Canal, and I'm just about to pass over the Avon Cliff Aqueducts, and it is a magnificent structure. It is 100 metres long, is 18 metres wide, and what it does, it takes the canal over the River Avon. So we're just going through that now. There's so much adventure to be had on these waterways. And talking of adventure, think of the adventure you could have. £72,000 richer, because that's what we're giving away. £72,000 in tax-free cash, yours to spend on whatever you like, but we're not stopping there. We're also giving away an £8,000 tech bundle, and we've got lots of different products. We've got Apple products, an iPad, a MacBook Air, an iPhone. We've got Shark products from Hoovers to hairstylers. We've got an LG Smart TV, which is a 55-incher. We've got Ninja Air Fryer, ice cream maker, outdoor oven. We've got £1,000 of John Lewis vouchers and much, much more. That's a combined prize total of £80,000. Here's all the details. Good luck.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY12 PO Box 7 558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Josie. Now, former Little Mix star Perry Edwards has revealed that despite being in a relationship with her fiancé, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, for 8 years and sharing a son together, the couple have never lived together. And according to research, 9% of people in the UK are living apart whilst in a relationship. So is it just a case of Brenda having to change our terminology, what we actually really think that term means? A couple can really mean anything, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite thinking about the 9%. I'm wondering how many people are in relationships, living in the same household, but living separately within that household. For me, that's living apart. It's still the same thing, but I don't agree with the word couple, maybe because I'm not in one, but I'm like, you know, for me it's more, I would use the term partner. This is my partner, because for me, and I know people might say, you know, that sounds like a business proposition. Well, you know, you've got to communicate with a partner if you're in business. You have to talk about finances if you're in business. You also have to share the experience or the company, whatever it is. And I think that is, I don't want to sound clinical, but that works for me, you know, and I have said on here many times, it's nice to be with somebody to share those experiences, but it's also nice to have my own space because I'm quite an independent person that's lived on their own for so long. So I'm used to that, and I don't
So
really
do you think if you did, you know, meet someone, it would always be that they lived in their place and you lived in yours?
because I think I don't like people put in their, you know, when you start living with, it can change and things change, and then that kind of spoils things. That's in my own personal experience, and I'm just happy with you have yours, I have mine. We come together, have a wonderful time. If you want to stay over, that's fine, but you're not moving in toothbrushes and shavers. You know, that's
the
all
word
great.
couple's almost like a claustrophobic thing to you.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like you have to, you know, I don't want that person feeling that I'm encroaching on their space either. I want them to be independent and do what they want. And, you know...
Isn't that
when
just friends with benefits?
No, it's not. Well, no, it's not, because you don't always... It doesn't always have to lead to a physical thing. It's just about...
It does.
For you, Coleen.
No,
but it's like
if
having
it
that
doesn't
company.
lead to that, then what is it leading to? I don't understand what...
Well,
so you just phone them up if you want...
People in
someone to
relationships in this
booze with?
country are having less sex than ever, Coleen, according to all the statistics. So
Not my statistic.
all right.
Go on.
All right, Coleen.
All right, no need to boast. But I actually hate the word couple because I'm with Brenda on this one. It's like being a pair of, you know, brackets almost for a pair. You know, it just sounds horrible, like you're half of something. But as for relationships, I always think that being in a couple, for me, is actually an ongoing battle. So most of the time it kind of simmers along, you have your little spats and then occasionally you have your furious rows. But it is a kind of question of combustible... there's a lot of combustible moments, and I think I'm better living apart.
I'm just loving the language here, these
Well, I'm
key
being
words
very careful because I actually think most women of my age in this country live with people they'd rather not be quite so close to, and their relationships might be better if their other half or their partner or husband...
Women of your age?
They'd like them to be living in the garden shed or in another room other than their bedroom.
So, Jen, you understand how this might work, and we're talking about a very young couple here.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Kerry
yeah. That's
Edwards
what's so unusual about it, because I think there are quite a lot of examples of older women deciding, I'd rather live by myself, I like my house, I like my... I don't want the radio on 24/7. I don't want the TV with that green thing with men running around on it.
You'd hit my house.
Not your house. All right.
I don't know if there's anything else.
Even though I want your husband, I don't want your husband's taste in television.
Did you just say you want my husband?
Obviously, when you're getting a little bit fed up with Frank.
Yes. Well, I want to uncouple. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's I never ever thought about it as being a thing, and then listening to both of you there, I said, okay, I get it. But I think if you are, like, I have no problem saying I'm in a couple. I actually find it's quite an empowering thing. It gives me strength. But that's because I think if you feel like you're sort of equal and you're obviously happy and all of those things, it can be a lovely thing to say.
You nearly
in a
said
couple.
my most loathed expression in the English language. This is smug central. Oh, we've been happily married for 10 years. And I just think,
I didn't go that
you
far.
haven't. Do you know anyone that's happily married
I didn't want to
for
put
10
you over
minutes?
the edge. There you go, folks. Never say the word couple in front of Janet. Just add it to the
I
list.
never said anything.
Well, you just
You said
came out
enough.
as smug, full stop.
You could be happily smug. Take
Thank
that
you.
one. After the break, she narrowly escaped death after her husband tampered with her parachute. Vicky Cilliers will be opening up about the day that changed her life and how she finds love again. That's all coming up after this. Your Tuesday's Loose Women, keeping you company for the next half hour. It's me, Christine Lampard, Coleen Nolan, Jana Street Porter and Brenda Edwards. Still to come ahead of Alison's big debut on For the Love of Dogs, we're going to be joined by some of our own pets live in the studio. We're very excited about that. Time for today's guest now, though, and it's been almost 10 years since she found herself at the heart of an astonishing true story that gripped the nation. To the outside world, Victoria and Emil Cilliers were a happy couple that lived life to the fullest. But on Easter Sunday 2015, life changed forever for Victoria. A skydiving jump organised by her husband went disastrously wrong when her main and reserve parachutes failed to deploy. But this was no accident. Known now as one of the most unusual crimes in legal history, in 2018, Emil was sentenced to 18 years imprisonment for the attempted murder of his wife. Please welcome Vicky Cilliers. Vicky, thank you so much for being here. We all remember that news story. It was extraordinary, it was shocking, and to think you're here to tell the tale is the most extraordinary part of this. It was back in 2010, wasn't it, if I can take you back then, to this whirlwind romance. And that's how this relationship began with Emil. Can you remember those early moments?
Yes, and I'd come out of a marriage and got to the point, sort of early to mid-30s, I was like, well, I'm now divorced, I've got no kids, and not quite knowing where life was going to go. And then suddenly this guy just almost came out of nowhere, and it was a bit like a love bomb. He just promised me pretty much everything that I wanted, and it just felt like the fairy tale. It felt like I was getting the happy ending.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was all lovely on paper. It was amazing. And
yeah, I thought I got my happy ending.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Did you have any suspicions that he wasn't 100% as billed? You know, that there might have been something else going on?
I think in the early days, no. I think the first red flag was when he denied all his children. He didn't tell me, and I thought that's quite a big thing to sort of miss out. There's a few little things, but I think I wanted the end stage, and I think I just chose to listen to what he said and progress on. I didn't really pay a huge amount of attention.
He sort of made you feel like that as well, Vicky, because you mentioned having been married before, and you'd obviously sort of trust issues throughout that time. So every time you would come up with something between yourselves, you go, this is your fault. This is how you feel because of what you've been through. So you sort of, a lot of people, it'll resonate with people. You carry on, don't you? Because you think, well, maybe it is me.
Especially after you were married and there started being some signs, I thought he might be having an affair. But every time I brought it up, he'd turn it round so that I was the one that ended up apologising to him and he'd blame it on my past relationship. And so I always ended up saying sorry.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of an uneasy period, certainly, and you were certainly feeling a little bit suspicious. And he organised a skydive for you, something that might be unusual to the rest of us. It's not to you at all. No. It was a real passion of yours. You're a senior skydiving instructor. It's a love. So you actually thought this was a nice thing for him to do. For a moment, you thought he's doing something quite positive here. So you were excited about this moment.
Sort of a lift in our relationship. He maybe wants to pursue more of a future, because I'd got to the point where I'd had enough of the relationship and of the marriage. I thought, oh, actually, maybe all's not lost. You know, he wants to do something together. He's actually thinking of me for a change.
Why don't you describe going up, because I don't think any of us have tried skydiving, and it's something that I can't quite get my head around. You're up in the plane and you simply jump out.
And it was certainly that time, it was mixed emotions, just very aware. It'd been a long day, it'd been on and off the plane several times, and it got to the point where actually I just want to go home. My body's telling me that, and actually I don't want to be here. So it was a bit mixed emotions in the plane. I was actually crying and didn't want to go out, and I was the last person out the aircraft in the end. But initially, in that first moment, when you step out, it just felt right. It felt good. Pull the parachute. It wasn't what I expected. But again, I wasn't overly concerned because I've had malfunctions before. It's just part and parcel of it.
So the main parachute didn't...
It wasn't viable. It did open, but it wasn't controllable.
Right.
So I had to get rid of it and deploy the reserve. But again, it's something you're trained to do. It's fairly standard practice. But the minute I deployed the reserve, I knew instantly there was something very wrong. because it should just be there and everything slows down and it's calm, but it wasn't. I was spinning.
But your training, of course, Vicky, kicks in. I mean, we would literally all be free falling, but you did click into this trained mode where you're trying to untangle. You're thinking, this is a terrible accident. You have to try and fix it. You're thinking, this can't be my day. I have to make my way through this. But they didn't open. Neither of those parachutes opened.
No.
And remarkably, you hit the ground, Vicky, which when people were watching this on the ground, they actually arrived to you with a body bag because no one thought you were going to survive this. And you did. And you put a lot of that down to where you landed, as well as your training.
Yeah, I think it was a mix of things, a combination of luck, trying to slow it down as much as I could. But actually, when you're spinning, that generates a bit of lift, so that probably slowed things down. A ploughed field. It was just, I suppose, a catalogue of a few things that made it work.
Was there a moment during that you thought, this is it, I'm going to die?
No.
So you never thought, this is the end
You don't
for
have
me?
time.
Wow. Incredible.
So you woke up, you're in hospital. You never suspected your husband at that stage because I remember reading about the first trial and you were quite an unwilling witness, it seems to me. You didn't want to believe that your husband was involved.
That was part of it. And it's a big step going from suspecting someone's been cheating on you to murdering you.
Yes.
You're married and you've got 2 children together. But also fear. You know, if what the police were telling me is correct and he'd tried twice to kill me, if I stand up in court and speak out against him, I had no idea, despite asking people how long, what sort of sentence that would attract. If he's just going to be given a couple of years in prison and then I'm the one that put him there, what's going to happen to me?
So
I didn't
the
want
police
to speak out.
came to you with evidence of your husband's double life, as it were.
Yes, they had evidence of his double life, but very little evidence towards the attempted murder. They kept their cards very close to their chest, so it was quite hard for me to understand what was going on. For about 2 or 3 years, I was kept in a bit like a black hole. I had no idea what was going on. I had no control. I just kept getting told, oh, in another few months, we'll have a decision whether or not we're going to court, and that went on for years.
But then you found out that he'd actually tried to kill you before the parachute jump.
Yes.
By interfering with the gas supply to your house.
Yes. And I told the police about that, because they just asked about anything slightly out of the ordinary. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together at all at that point.
Well, you wouldn't. I mean, it's an extraordinary leap, isn't it, into this ridiculously scary world of thinking that your husband indeed is capable of it.
Sorry, can I ask you a quick question? What injuries did you sustain?
I broke my pelvis quite badly, my back, lots of ribs, and a few minor internal injuries.
So you were in hospital for quite a while, I would assume.
Like 2.5 weeks, at least. My training came in as a physio. I was like, I'm going to get myself home.
You knew what to do, exactly. Well, you wriggled your toes and your fingers straight away, didn't you? Just to check that they could
the safety
move.
check.
So straight away, you were in the zone. He was found guilty of 2 counts of attempted murder, sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 18 years and is currently serving his sentence in Staffordshire. It was a moment where I hope, Vicky, and for you and your family, that you could in some way move on. You thought that a door has closed here. You were feeling safer, I hope, and you felt like there was a second chapter to be had in life now, but you're at a point now where you do feel happy and that you have moved on.
And I think the judge's sentencing was a pivotal moment because that's when I found out a little bit more about everything that had gone on, and after a few months, that sort of really sunk in. And yeah, it's taken a few years, but yes, coming out the other side.
Yeah. To say that, having found love again as well, Vicky, which I know, I understand you would be tentative and you're cautious about that, but this person is someone that was involved in the parachuting world, was there the day, in fact, your attempted murder happened. It's someone that you didn't have to explain your life to, which I'm sure there was a shorthand naturally amongst the 2 of you.
Yes. And I had sort of tentatively tried dating a little bit, but it just becomes too much when you try and explain your own circumstances. That I can't. I thought maybe I'm destined not to meet someone. And it happened fairly organically. And yeah, it was just a relief not to have to explain everything.
Yeah.
But I thought, why should my past dictate my future?
Vicky, like we say, it was one of those monumental stories, wasn't it? I mean, we all remembered it when we were hearing it in the news that this can't be real. And it was your reality, and here you are now, thankfully, all these years later, a different person, Becky. So honestly, congratulations with everything. Send our love to the family, and good luck with everything. Good luck with everything. It's lovely to see you. Still to come, with over half of UK adults now owning a pet. There's no denying we're a nation of animal lovers, but are dogs now a woman's best friend? We're discussing that alongside some of our pets next. That should be good. We'll see you in a bit. Still to come, would you include your pet's pooch in your will? Paul O'Grady left £125,000 to his 5 dogs. But which one of us said she would leave her car? Yes, her car, to her furry friend. Now, though, the late Queen Elizabeth was known for her unflappable attitude, but one of her closest aides has revealed that the monarch revelled when things went wrong at official engagements because it was just a little break from the norm. And here at Loose, we are no strangers to a few calamities.
With my first love for about 4 years.
Oh, sorry, that's just part of the step.
We found him.
There he
is. Welcome.
Oh, ladies.
Straight from the ITV bank account this morning. How the do I look at it?
Apologies.
Is it live on air?
Apologies. I would like to apologise for Linda's language. She knows that she's done wrong.
In a flash, you know what? I've got one.
That's a good kick. Yeah, that's a good kick. Very, very good kick. And Linda hasn't learned a thing either, has she?
No.
Anyway.
No, we don't let her do them anymore, do we? Not live.
We keep her sort of, yeah. But anyway, Coleen, do you just embrace things? I mean, certainly in live telly, you have to a lot of the time, but in life, do you just embrace the odd calamity when things just don't quite go right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're kind of funny, aren't they? It depends what it is. If it's a drastic calamity that's going to affect your life, obviously, or the lives around you, then that's horrendous. But silly calamities like, for instance, I had an instance with my car last week because Kira and Michael have both, at some point, damaged my car, like it's been hit by people. And I've been very calm, and I was like... And then I took it to the garage at the weekend and said, I'm not letting anyone drive this car anymore because, obviously, they don't know how to drive it. And I said, it's really weird because I've had it years and I've never bumped it. And on the way home, I drove home. And on the way home, I was watching a really fat wood pigeon, and I thought, that wood pigeon looks so cute. And as I was looking at it, my car scraped along the whole fence that it was sitting on. And Michael was like, oh, my God. And I was like, it's just a car.
But that's so your attitude is
my attitude is like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That was a good impression of a dog. Honestly, that's my other talent.
That's exactly you bark from within.
I might do it again in a minute.
Janet, do you embrace the unexpected?
No, I don't. I hate it. I can't cope when things go wrong at all.
You like order, you see, don't you?
I like everything tidy, everything ordered. I don't know anything about mechanics because I didn't do science at school. So if the washing machine or the dryer go wrong, I always assume the worst. And then there's nothing worse in that situation, those 2 words that make me have a complete mega meltdown when the person you're living with says, chill out. That's the opposite.
That's very brave of him.
Very brave. He'd be chilling out in the freezer if this was to work.
I think I'm a bit of a calamity queen, safe to say, you know, with everything that's happened. But
So you create the calamity?
Well, they just seem to happen. I either walk into them or they happen around me. But my whole thing is positivity all day, every day, no matter what. That's
So you can sort of conquer all of those little things that can...
Life is going to happen, isn't it?
The show with your eyebrows.
But, yeah,
Would you like to share that?
No, I wouldn't like to share that. but yes, we had a show on here and there were 3 of you on the panel and I had put my eyebrows on because I have to draw them in every day and I forgot to take them off. And so I was sitting with, like, dustbin liner eyebrows. They were really shiny and they thought it was a trend.
I thought it was something that...
I thought you were so ahead of the curve. I was open mouth, and I thought, Brenda, you're making a statement with those 2 bits of paper stuck in your eyebrow.
Loose blooper, basically, Brenda. We've got plenty of them. Competition time now again, and you've only got until Friday to enter our spring prize draw worth £80,000. Josie has all the details. Hello, Josie, take it away.
Ladies, welcome back to the Kennet and Avon Canal, where I'm joined by Captain David from Foxhangers Canal Boat Holidays. Now, Captain David, what are the best thing about these waterway systems for you?
It's the people.
The people, oh, lovely. Now, we're here celebrating our spring competition where we're giving away a huge amount of money, £72,000 in tax-free cash. What would you do with that sort of money, Captain David?
Something to do with canals and boats, I should say, Josie.
Think of the canal boat you could get with £72,000. That'd be a beauty, wouldn't it?
You could do quite nicely,
yeah.
yes.
But not only that, we're also giving you a £8,000 tech bundle, which includes Apple products from an iPad, a MacBook Air, an iPhone, Shark Hoovers and a hair styler, an LG Smart TV, a 55-incher, a Ninja air fryer, ice cream maker, an outdoor oven, and even £1,000 of John Lewis vouchers and much, much more. That's a combined prize total of £80,000. It could all be yours, but you haven't got long. Lines close this Friday. Here's all the details. Good luck.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY12 PO Box 7 558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday at 3 p.m. Good luck!
I know you're the captain, but I'm actually in charge, David. I just want to put that out there, all right? OK, all right, OK. Imagine what you could do with £72,000 and an £8,000 tech bundle. It could all be yours, but you need to pick up the phone. Remember, lines close this Friday. The very best of luck. Goodbye.
Good luck with that. Now, tonight we're going to see Alison Hammond take over as the new host for The Love of Dogs. Alison's going to do a brilliant job, of course. And as we know, the show was, of course, previously presented by the late, great Paul O'Grady until he died just over a year ago. And Paul left us with many laughs and many great memories, but he left his 5 beloved dogs a little bit more than that. It's been reported that each of his pooches received £25,000 in his will. But would you leave any of your cash to your pets? This is my little Minnie. Now, Minnie is 8 years old, aren't you, sweetheart? And you'll be well looked after, don't you worry about that. You will. Minnie has, however, spotted Smokey at the end of the table and isn't quite sure what to do with herself.
This
Brenda.
is Smokey. Smokey's going to be a year next week. Oh. Yes, Smokey.
Oh, and this is Janet.
That's the biggest cat I've ever seen.
Now, Janet, don't make me put your muzzle on.
You love your pets,
I
Coleen,
love.
and you've got lots of them.
Yes, I have.
You can see why Paul did that. He was a man who adored animals.
Yeah.
Wanted them looked after and loved.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have imagined anything else. And that's, oh gosh, that's just 2 of your pets.
Oh,
yes.
there's my cats.
My goodness.
I know, gorgeous. Oh, there's my little 3-legged Yorkie. I don't know who that is on the couch or whatever that is. But yes, I'm absolutely obsessed with animals, obsessed with every animal. And yeah, I didn't expect anything less when I read that about Paul, obviously his animals were like so important to him as they are to me. The importance for me is who I leave my animals to when I die, because it's all very well leaving the money, but if you leave the money to the wrong person who then goes, actually, I don't want the animals, I'll just keep the dosh. So, you know, with me, it's Kira, because Kira's obsessed with animals as much as me, and I know they'd be loved, whatever. And obviously they're very expensive, so you have to leave something for them. But yeah, it's more about who I'm leaving them to, I think, than money-wise, because that would scare me that no one... I mean, you don't... It's like with your kids, isn't it? You don't feel like anyone's going to love them like you love them, you know?
Yeah.
She ain't getting them.
Well,
no, I love my badger.
You do love your badger.
Here today because he's a country dog, and if he was here now, he'd be barking non-stop, and he'd also be dealing with that thing there. He's not a cat fan.
That is the most beautiful cat ever.
I know, he's a lovely cat, darling.
She is a lovely cat.
But I didn't bring Badger in. But the fact is that when I die, I haven't considered what I'd leave Badger in my will, but I think he's a fantastic 1 in a million dog. He obviously can sing, he's highly intelligent. But the thing about Badger that's quite unique is he thinks he can drive. So whenever I'm in the car, the Badger gets alongside me, and I've got dog nav every inch of the way. There he is. So when I go, I'm leaving him the car, because let's face it, he's wrecked it. There's fur all over it, slobber all over it. My car, it just looks like a dog.
So that is officially his car now. That's just
he
what
can
it
have my
is.
car.
You see.
He's welcome to that.
You're at least
car.
considerate. Minnie's getting everything. Thanks so much for your company today. Tomorrow, I am following in Coleen and Janet's footsteps, and I'm sharing some of my stories in my life before Luce. That'll be interesting. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.